Welcome to Little Bracket of Horrors, the pod that puts the fight in fright. Hey everyone, I am Derek.
And I'm Shelly.
We are announcing who we are because that's what we do.
We do it.
But welcome to Little Bracket of Horrors, and in this episode we'll be covering
Little Bracket of Horrors.
my voice is a little hoarse.
Little Bracket of Horrors.
But we are covering Sleepaway Camp on this episode, which was a Shelly pick.
It was a Shelly pick.
It was a Shelly pick.
It's just been me and you talking on the
It
mic for a
has.
while now. I feel like we need a friend.
I know. Do we? Maybe we'll see what we land on this episode, and then we'll make plans if necessary.
If you're interested, hit us up.
Yeah,
Even if you didn't pick a movie.
that's right.
We need more friends.
We need more friends. Oh my gosh,
I'm tired of staring at Derek.
I know. Well, it's been a little bit
actually
again.
Been a while, yeah.
Last episode was the
This
haunting
is the
with your
extended
dad.
season.
Well, oh yes.
This is the do it at our leisure season.
I know. We'll finish this in 2 years. We'll get to the bracket in 2026.
Coming soon. It's gonna be great.
I know. Yeah, it's been a while. So
Yeah, I went to DC on a little trip to see Green Day.
yes.
But we spent a couple days being touristy. But we flew up there, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Quickest mode of transportation to get
From
anywhere.
Florida. Yeah, that's the move.
You know, a little 2-hour flight. Nothing. No issues. We didn't get affected by that crash that canceled a ton of flights. Not affected. Everything on time. Great.
Yeah.
Flight was great to DC. We land and I want to say we were at the gate or had just pulled up to the gate. And then anyone who knows my sister, she has an unwavering fear of puke.
Mm-hmm.
No amount of convincing
Yeah.
could tell her that even if someone were to or she were to, everybody's going to be okay in the grand scheme of things.
Yes.
Anyways, so we're pretty far back in the plane because we wanted to sit together.
Was this Southwest?
Southwest.
Okay.
We were boarding group B, but towards the end of the first
Yeah.
B group. I'm a window seater and I'll put her in the middle. And I didn't want to climb over anyone, so I just kept going to the back till I could get a full row.
Yeah.
So a gentleman did join us, and we're pulling up to the gate. And Sherry notices this gentleman has a white trash bag.
Yeah.
And she goes, I think he threw up. And turns
Oh, no.
to me with this look of panic. And I was like, I think I don't know, maybe we'll throw up. I don't know. And she's just looking at me sheer panic because she's sitting next to the man.
Yeah. She's got the middle seat.
And
yeah.
then just as I go to look, the guy passes out.
Oh.
Straight up in his chair, just flops.
Mm-hmm.
Unconscious. I don't know if I said it loud enough or that the stewardess, flight attendant, what do they call him now? What's PC? The flight attendant saw it at the same time, but I did say pretty loudly, he passed out.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And all of a sudden the flight attendant was on the the PA
Intercom.
Intercom.
Is that what they call it?
I don't
on
know.
a plane.
My
We're not pilots.
whatever. Goes, is there a doctor or nurse on the
Yeah.
plane? We need help back here. Someone passed out. Bunch of women came.
Okay.
Girl power.
Yeah.
And he came to it. They gave him some orange juice.
Yeah.
And he mentioned he hadn't eaten all day. And it was 1 or 2 o'clock by the time we landed. 1 o'clock. And guy hadn't eaten all day.
Oh, God.
And they asked if he was diabetic. He said no. But obviously, the orange juice was perking him up. So
Good.
you don't eat, you're going to,
Yeah.
blood sugar's going to drop, especially when you're flying like that. You're dehydrated. So, but this whole time, I literally just have Sherry in my arms, cuddling her. And she's got her face just dug into my shoulder.
Oh,
And the women who came to help, they were like, She okay? She can be. I was like, this is fine. And she's scared of puke. Yeah. So I'm just gonna hold her. Got her. But then they're like, oh, move him. I'm like, the man just passed out. Take your time. We're good.
Yeah.
They eventually get him moved to like another row across the way so we could exit the plane.
Yeah.
And his seat was covered. We're going to tell ourselves it was covered in sweat. Very moist.
Yes. Oh, no.
But, yeah, we skedaddled, got out of there. And that was that. But, yeah, it was a little scary, but interesting story I needed to share.
Yeah.
If I seen any scare, I watched Mr. Harrington's Phone. What is it? Harrington's Phone.
Oh,
have you heard of this one? It's based on a Stephen King story.
Okay.
And it's on Netflix. You have Netflix?
Yes.
What is it called? Mr. Harrigan's Phone.
Okay.
Kind of more of like a teen thriller. Not really horror. I would say like a thriller.
Okay.
Suspenseful.
Yeah.
I think Ian could watch it and be fine. There's not anything sexual or curse words or anything like that.
That's the breaking
It's very interesting. They reflect a lot about like phones and how they control our lives, but it's set in the time of when iPhones first released, like the first iPhone.
Interesting.
So, yeah, not a bad watch. And then we both had the opportunity to go see Longlegs.
Yeah, separately, but we did both see it since our last break.
We did. And we talked about it at the last one that we needed to see.
Yeah, exactly. What was your overall feeling?
I liked it. Mm-hmm. It's definitely out there, which, we tend to kind of like those movies just because it's new, it's fresh.
Exactly.
I did get a lot of like Silence of the Lambs vibes from it.
Totally.
Mixed with almost like a Murder by Numbers, mystery solving,
yeah, I see that.
I don't know, Zodiac Killer or whatever you want to call it, with this added Nick Cage character that was just terrifying and creepy and
very creepy,
very well played.
Yeah.
Cool little twist.
Very stylistic, I thought, visually.
Yeah.
The old shots, like they look like almost like a Polaroid.
They would change the frame on the movie.
I thought it was cool.
There was also tons of moments, and I don't know if you caught on, where they would just put like a silhouette of like a demon in the background.
That was great.
A lot of times, and there'd be times where I'd be like, "Sherry, did you see that?" And she's no, like, oh, they just like,
I know
there was a demon just standing there. Like,
yeah.
It was the same demon silhouette. It was almost like a statue, and I think they do show a statue of it at some point. Maybe that's where I got like that from, but I don't know. But anyways, very creepy. Yeah, I would give it 4 stabs.
Oh yeah,
I give it 4 stabs. Solid.
I would definitely agree. It's a contender for my favorite so far this year that I've seen.
Oh, that's came out?
Yeah, for 2024.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. Definitely a mystery. That as you go, it's just like the layers of the onion being peeled back, and just gets crazier. And then like, I don't know, it's a fun ride. It's a roller coaster.
They do a really good job of not giving. I don't know. I'd have to maybe rewatch it, but they do a pretty good job of not giving away what the mystery is. Like, they're giving clues. They're following through. You're very well aware that this guy is connected to the detective, but you don't know how deep it is or how far it goes.
Yeah.
Until like they decide to be like, here you go. And they did a really good job. I say this all the time. Let us in on it. Like, give it to us on a little silver platter, which they do. I think they did.
Oh yeah.
Even some would argue maybe like you could have used one more like scene after that end bit.
Step 2.
Yeah, maybe like what happens after that. Mm-hmm. But I'm okay with how it ended because it ended. You know what I mean? That's all I'll say. But I like when they are like, silver platter, here you go. Like, we're gonna tell you, we're letting you in on the mystery and the fun. Mm-hmm. Don't let me leave being like, you figure it out.
Yeah, it wasn't open-ended.
But I couldn't figure it out until they were like, here you go.
Yeah. We've been going to see Marvel movies so much in the last couple years that I always stay past the post credits to be like, is there going to be anything extra? And it wasn't. I was like, God damn. But we were hanging out. It has an awesome soundtrack too.
Yeah, pretty
like
solid. Yeah.
T-Rex is on it. I think there's like a couple Lou Reed songs. It's just it's got like a rock and rolly vibe almost with the
very well, I want to say it was 70s, but like Bill Clinton was on the guy's wall, so that was like, oh, it's the 90s.
Yeah,
then.
early
it has to be
90s, I'm guessing. Yeah. At least.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was super fun. I went last night and watched it, and I just had a good time. I was
Yeah.
entertained.
Yeah.
And I was sucked in pretty quick, especially with that beginning little montage or
Oh,
whatever you want to.
yeah.
I was just like, what is going on? So my interest was piqued right away with that beginning section. And then as it was going, we were just getting little nuggets, and it pulled me in, and I was in all the way through. It was
Great little blood factor, and I will
Yes.
say very shocking scene that you're like, oh God, like
Yes.
they're showing it. And when that got teased, it was I saw a TikTok, and it was just a picture of like a young lady, like a child, a teenager, or like tween, and having longer legs than usual. And that was all they let on it. And I don't know if I said this to you, it felt like they didn't give a lot away in the trailer.
I didn't watch the trailer.
Oh, you didn't? Because
No.
you fear
Yeah,
that. But
I do. I don't trust.
you should watch it now and see what
I
you
will in
think.
hindsight,
But like,
yeah.
I think like they really just gave enough snippets to be like, what's going on?
Cool.
But yeah,
I like it. Yeah.
that's my thoughts.
Great movie. I hopefully maybe in future podcasts, maybe we'll end up maybe next year or the year
Maybe.
after. But
Maybe.
it would be fun to dig into that type of movie and discuss it.
Yeah.
So
Very cool.
we'll see how the future goes.
If we ever get done this
Yeah.
season.
All right.
Oh.
So are you ready to get into Sleepaway Camp?
I'm ready.
All right, cool. First section, dig up the bones. And this is where I just introduce the movie we watch and give a brief summary. So, Sleepaway Camp is a 1983 American slasher film that was released on November 18th, 1983. Directed, written, and produced by Robert Hiltzik. Not a lot of credits for him other than Sleepaway Camp and Return to Sleepaway Camp. He did produce a character study film on Melvin the Mop Boy from Toxic Avenger called Toxie Tutu. So that's out there somewhere. That sounds very interesting. Music, Edward Bellows. Nothing of note, just a bunch of miniseries and documentaries. Cinematography was Benjamin Davis. Other credits for him, The Survivalist and then Sudden Death. Special effects, Edward French. Also credits on Sinister 2, Hellraiser Bloodline, Creepshow 2, and then 2 movies that we have covered, The Stuff and Cooties. So
Oh.
he's done some work on a couple of our movies.
Cooties.
So, Cooties was fun. Next up, we got production company, American Eagle Films, distributed by United Film Distribution Company. Sequels, prequels, here we go. Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers, which came out in 1988. Sleepaway Camp 3, Teenage Wasteland in 1989. And then Return to Sleepaway Camp that came out in 2008. There is a Sleepaway Camp 4 called The Survivor that came out in 2012. And essentially, the film was in production, and this is a fun fact. Film was in production in 1992, but operations halted when Double Helix Films, which was the production company, went bankrupt. And in 2012, the film was completed using archived footage from the first 3 films. So it was pieced together. But it's not available anywhere.
You tried.
I tried finding it, not even to purchase, so I don't know if anyone out there has a copy, but I would be extremely interested to see what the storyline is where they have, because I think they shot like 30 minutes of footage, and then the rest of the film is just old, unused footage. So very interesting. Budget, $350,000.
Oh, very modest.
Yes. And then box office, $11 million.
Oh, wow.
I think it was a low, steady climb, but 11
I
million.
wonder how many years it took them.
Yeah, and I know when it came out in the theaters, it was up against some decent films and beat them out the first week. But I don't have that information on my paperwork. The Rotten Tomatoes rating was 81% on the tomato meter, and then 61% on the audience score. Starring Felissa Rose as Angela, who is also in Terrifier 2, who we just saw last year, Victor Crowley, and then The Return to Sleepaway Camp. Jonathan Tiersten played Ricky, who was also in Return to Sleepaway Camp, Perfect House, and then a very interesting movie called Toilet Zombie Baby Strikes Back.
Oh, God.
Which is intriguing because apparently there needs to be a first one if the baby is striking back. So there's a Toilet Zombie Baby 1 somewhere.
Oh, my gosh.
Karen Fields as Judy. Besides Sleepaway Camp, she did do a short film in 2014 called Judy, which is just a character study on Judy Moore.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Christopher Collette as Paul. He also starred in The Manhattan Project, Prayer for the Roller Boys, and a ton of voice acting in English dub versions of anime series like Pokemon and One Piece.
Interesting.
So I shouted out One Piece because that's Ian's favorite anime. Yeah. So there you go, Ian. Go watch it. And then finishing off with the cast, we'll go with Desiree Gould as Aunt Martha. Just a few credits, but she did a movie called Caesar and Otto Meet Dracula's Lawyer.
Oh, God.
Which is free on YouTube.
Did you look it up?
I did look it up, and
Did you watch it?
I meant to watch it at lunch today, and I got busy and was unable to catch it. So yes,
the world will never know.
Unless they want to go on YouTube.
I don't know. I feel like you need a volunteer's tribute.
I will.
You're still gonna do it.
I'll watch it. Yeah. All right. Sleepaway Camp. Young Angela and her cousin Ricky head out to Camp Arawak for her first ever sleepaway camp. Ricky doesn't skip a beat and picks up right where he left off with his peers, while poor Angela is having a tougher time. From being targeted by the scumbag chef Artie and a mean girl camper Judy, she just can't seem to catch a break. Mysteriously, campers soon start going missing and showing up dead. Some real hard questions then arise, such as, who is a killer? What do they want? And why does Angela get to talk to the boys?
You're really proud of yourself.
I was. Yeah. I gave my best Judy.
I guess so, yeah.
I really sold it. So initial reactions to landing on Sleepaway Camp. How did you feel?
Yeah, I was excited. It was my pick. I feel like it is a horror movie that any fan should watch if you're a fan of the genre.
Agreed.
I didn't know about it for a long time. And then I think I saw someone at the convention, Spooky, with like a sticker of it with the face. And I was like, what is that? And they mentioned, I was like, oh, okay. But I might not have watched it like even right after that. So I wanted to put it on the wheel this year, or put it in the bag, because I just think it's a good, solid horror watch.
Yeah.
What were your feelings?
I was excited. I watched it a couple years back. Actually, in my 20s, not a couple years back. I'm 40 now. Jesus.
About 20 years ago, I watched it.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it was actually when my best friend Mark lived with us, Carrie and I, and he was the one that suggested we watch Sleepaway Camp because he watched it with some friends of his, and he's like, you have to see this film. It's nuts. And right from the gate, I was in love with it because of Aunt Martha and just how over the top she was.
Oh, my God.
And then just as the film went on and the ending, I was like, this movie is gold. So I was excited. You gave it to us to cover.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, I did want to, have you ever stayed at like a sleepaway camp? Have you ever experienced that?
I have.
Okay.
Couple times.
Oh, cool.
Growing up around here, we had Dayspring Episcopal camp.
Oh, okay.
And so I would go for like a week every summer. And then as I got older, I would go up to North Carolina to another Episcopal camp called Canuga.
Wow.
And would do like overnight camp there. And I want to say that was during winter break.
Oh, okay.
So it was a little colder, but not like snowing cold, but it was colder. And then locally we had like some like weekend camps we'd go to. So yeah.
Did you have good experiences?
Yeah, for the most part.
I just know, I've only experienced one quick one.
Oh, okay.
That was just a weekend one when I was in 6th grade. We went and stayed, and it was just like every school in the area went and stayed at Camp McKeever, and we went and stayed for a weekend, and it was just, like I said, 2 days, but it was super awesome. We went out in the woods and did like archery and all that. So it was super cool, but I always like, I watched Bug Juice on Disney Channel, so I fantasized about getting to go away and go to like a camp out in nature. So I always wanted it, and I got a little bit of a taste at one time, but I was like, oh, man, I'm so jealous of kids that get to go camps and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know if Dayspring's still around. That was local. The ones, like, we would go to the Girl Scout. There's a lot of Girl Scout camps and Boy Scout camps around here. The weekend ones were really quick, and literally we would just, like, swim in the lake most of the time or have, like, fire sessions. Nothing big there. But the week one, the only bad experience I had is in elementary school, maybe early middle school. I made the all-star team. Oh, okay. And we advanced to the finals, and I couldn't go to the last game. So I was like devastated, sitting in my bunk. I remember being on a top bunk because we had bunks you would check into, and like there was like 4 girls in each little section. And I just remembered like crying about like that I couldn't go to the game because I was on the all-star team. Yeah. But other than that, the days, a lot of the ones were religious. So there was a lot of like, let's sing Jesus songs and read Bibles. And
did you do a lot of crafts and stuff too?
Yeah, so there's crafts. We would go canoeing. The one up in North Carolina, it was funny. I went with just like me and my friend one time, and her mom drove us and my parents picked us up because it was quite a little hike.
Oh yeah.
But we went once with my parents for a week-long clown camp.
Oh yes.
But the camp was closed to like kids, so they just had the people coming to the clown camp, which was like maybe 50 clowns.
Okay.
But my parents were doing that all day, but they still had like camp counselors on staff, but there was no kids. It was like out of session when we were there. So me, my sister, and then one other couple that went to our church that were clowns because they were in the clown group for the church. Yeah. The whole thing. But we went with them. That we were allowed to go with them, but we had to find our like own fun because there was no camp going on.
There was no activities for you. Yeah.
But the counselors were really great. They like, and it was too cold, I think, to like swim. But you know, we would go like when they were teaching everyone to do balloon animals, and we would sit in the clown thing and do balloon animals or do juggling and things like that. But one day we got together with all the camp counselors, the few of us kids that were there, and we decided we were going to have like a water balloon flight in canoes and like paint our faces.
Oh, that's
and
sick.
So it was just like 3 or 4 kids and all these like adult camp counselors, and we're sitting at like dinner in the food hall, and like war painted up, bandanas on, and everyone's like, what are you guys gonna do? We're like, we have a battle after this. We're about to fight. So like that's probably one of my favorite memories. It wasn't even like it was sleepaway camp, but it wasn't like I was with my mom and dad. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, Canoega's great. You know, it sucks that I don't know about any local like non-religious ones, but I think every kid middle school age, 5th grade or higher, you know, I think it's a great experience to go to a sleepaway camp. Not like Angela experience, but
just Lord of the Flies.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, but yeah.
I wouldn't suggest the Lord of the Flies type of camp either.
No.
But yeah, I have done sleepaway camp.
Nice. Well, you know, watching this movie, it brought back those memories of like the wanting to go away for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
And experience that. And I was like, I wonder if Shelly's ever.
Yeah. The places I stayed never were like that. Were like the local ones, it was like a communal room. Okay, but the Day Spring one, local to here, that was like a week away, that one had like bunk sections. So it was just like you were really only with like 2 or 3 other girls, but not like there where they all have single beds. Yeah. I've never stayed in a place where everybody has like their own single bed and like it's hardcore.
Stacking you. You got to fit them in.
Always stack them.
Yep.
Stackables.
That's how you get as much money as possible.
Right.
You gotta
more
stack
bang for your buck.
You ever stay in like a 3 tall bunk bed?
I don't think I have. Can't say that I have.
But my aunt had a 3 tall bunk bed in her house, and I stayed up on the 3rd bunk, which initially sounded great. But then I realized
you had to go pee in the middle of the night.
I had like 4 inches between my nose and the ceiling, and I was like, "This is very tough." But I was also I was the smallest one, so it was just like, you know,
little D money.
Yeah, so I got thrown up on the top, but my aunt likes to also stack them high, I guess. All right.
Good to know about your aunt. I've learned so much.
Yeah, my aunt's pretty cool.
Yeah,
she's a cool lady. She had plastic on her furniture.
Oh, I know everything I need to know.
Yeah, she was
plastic on the furniture and a 3 bunk high.
Yeah,
bunk bed makes all the sense in the world. If you're listening, yeah, money's aunt.
Yeah, Aunt Abby, what up?
Shout out.
Yeah, smash that like button. Give us a follow.
Subscribe.
You know what to do.
YouTube channel.
Yeah, follow my TikTok channel too. All right, let's get back into the movie. All right, so next segment is Feasting Fiends. In this, we discuss the topics of overall pros, overall cons of the movie, characters, dialogue, and our favorite kills/scares. Shelly.
Well, I'm going to have you kick it off because I obviously usually do.
Yes.
If it's just me and you.
Yes.
So I'd like you to go first. I'm going to pass the baton.
Yes. So here we go. first and foremost, the dialogue. There's so many great one-liners in this movie, and I think it really captures the ability of kids of that age to be like kings and queens of shit talking, and just, without abandon and just ruthless to one another. And I think I captured that really well. I got a couple lines in the dialogue that'll go over when we get there, but just loved the dialogue. This movie is extremely preposterous. So many scenes that are just out of left field, and I loved a ton of them. I listed a ton, but since you're having me go first, I'm just going to pick a couple, to talk about water balloon fights. We all love water balloon fights. Water balloon fights in a canoe makes total sense. I have never seen in my entire life a water balloon fight on a slanted roof of a tiny little shack, and just like 6 kids just standing around throwing water balloons at each other like snipers, just taking people out, and just wide open. Counselors all over the place.
And they don't care until poor Angela.
Poor Angela had to take the physical abuse for someone to act.
And it sent her.
Yeah, it did. It was one of the many things that sent her. And then there was a scene towards the end when this was when Mel was starting to suspect that it was Ricky. And this was the scene where Angela got tossed into the water. So the beginning of that scene when Mel was kind of picking at and investigating with Ricky, who's in the background but Counselor Ron, just pumping iron in a field, just loose weights, standing in a wide open field, and most ripped guy out of everyone looked like his whole outfit was like painted on. On like a second watch or something, it was like, is that fucking Ron in a field doing calisthenics?
Weights.
So many scenes, and I could go on forever about it. Moving on, also performances. I think the performances of Felissa Rose as Angela, Desiree Gould as Aunt Martha, and Karen Fields really gave this movie a great campiness to it, especially Aunt Martha with that beginning monologue and the end monologue. And like Karen Fields did such a good job as Judy, this evil little girl who just like any insecurity, any little thing, she did such a good job at being like the evil villain in it. I loved her work. And then to finish it up, the score. The score almost had like no business being in this movie. It was very grand, especially in like that opening scene. We just get this like orchestral and stringed and horned sound. And then throughout the film, like it was almost like a Disney score to this like weird campy movie. I love the score too.
It's funny. I feel like you set every one of your pros up with a con. You're like,
well,
it had no business be there. I loved it.
Yes, but that's the thing about this movie. A lot of these
scenes made no sense.
Yes,
and I loved it.
All the things that I could see other people having a problem with this film for, I loved it just because of within the context of this film, it all balanced out in this like beautiful, beautiful finished product. But
very nice.
Go ahead. What's your pros?
All right. Well, I really enjoyed the practical effects.
Yeah.
Love the little details and the creative kills. I really thought that they came up with some ideas. The boiling water one was the only one that I really was like, really? It's just hot water. Wouldn't kill someone, but
but definitely painful. Oh my
very
gosh.
Painful. Yes.
He looked.
And the
rough.
way the boils like moved, and
great.
there was we're gonna get into kills/scares, but every kill was unique and different.
Yes.
You didn't have a killer going around doing the same thing to everyone. Mm-hmm. So.
And especially with like the budget that they had, obviously a very modest budget.
Yeah.
I think they got a lot out of the money that they had at their disposal to still create something that was pretty grotesque.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I agree.
It's epitome of classic 80s horror. I think, like I said earlier, every horror fan should see it. It takes place in a camp. It breathes, eats, sleeps 80s.
Yes.
So I definitely love that aspect of it. And I think it's one of the most unique horror endings that we've seen or have in the horror genre. Mm-hmm. Very, very cool twist. So I have to give them kudos for that. So.
Yeah. I don't think the rest of this movie shines as much as it does, at least for me, unless you have that crazy twist at the end.
Yeah.
So, like I said, when I watched it for the first time 20 fucking years ago, I was just mouth on the floor, and especially from my friend who brought it to me, I was like, I can't believe you watched this before me.
Yeah.
How is that allowed? You ready for cons?
Ready.
You want me to take it away again?
I mean, I can go first if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. For me, the more you do see this movie, I think some of the initial camp And what makes the ending is easy to spot from the get-go. And I think some of it gets lost the more you watch the film, because I turned it on. I've seen it before. I only ever really watched the movie once, if not twice. But this time I only really watched it once. But I've seen it a few times, so very familiar with the movie. And I noticed in the beginning, when the boat accident happens and the kids and the father get hurt, which his arm clearly gets sliced off, and then he has his arm when he's floating. Explain that. But anyways, the only kid left wading water and alive is clearly the son, because the girl clearly had long hair. And then when they come to the aunt talking to the kids and you have a boy and a girl, it was very clear one kid died and the kid that was living was the boy. So I'm like, and maybe people think it's Ricky, and that's where the ending is still like a good twist.
I can totally see that. Like, the twist of this movie is that end and the surprise, but like when you watch it again, it does lose that, which this movie is a big twist. Like, that's what this movie is known for. So when you do watch it, you're like, oh, here's all these obvious points
connections.
To it. Yeah. So I see that.
I essentially thought the acting wasn't great.
Okay.
I just think it was very much like, I'm reading for a play. I'm in a middle school play. Also, it really bothered me why such young kids were there, and they were all like being so brash and harsh. Like, it was clearly like Judy was clearly 10 years older than Ricky.
Oh, yeah.
She looks, no offense to the actress, she looked much older than Ricky, who she apparently dated the year before.
Yeah, they were going steady. Yeah.
But then there's like 5 and 6 year olds at this camp.
I know. And then you have Bill, who's got a hairy chest. This is one of my cons too. That's why I'm sort of jumping in with you. But he's got a hairy chest. He looks older than some of the counselors, but apparently he's a camper, which was like throwing me off.
And Ricky and Judy dated, right?
Yes.
Ricky's clearly younger than Judy.
Uh-huh.
And Judy's talking to some men who are clearly older than her. And I'm like,
I know.
Your age gaps. And I read some of the fun facts, and they're like, the kids were like people who worked the movies, children. I'm like, yeah, that's great. You used your children. They don't fit in a camp where they're talking about boobs and sex and vaginas and kissing. They shouldn't have been there. And I didn't love the cinematography.
Yeah.
I did not enjoy the killer POV on this one.
Yeah, they did that a few times, yeah.
They did give us good shots of the kill. I will say that. But I don't know. I kind of enjoy when we get to see the killer. Maybe there was like a shtick, like a ghost face or Jason, like a mask or something. They don't show us killer for obvious reasons. They don't tell us killer because they wanted to like keep it like hidden. But I don't know. I didn't love the camera shots during the POV of the killer. Yeah. So those are my cons.
Good job.
Thanks.
My cons, other than being confused by the ages in this camp, like we just talked about, that was one of my cons. I thought the editing for the scene transitions was a little odd. Yeah. It almost was edited like a made-for-TV movie.
Oh, and the way it blacked out all the time, yeah.
Like if you watch Salem's Lot, you get those like abrupt fade to black, which makes sense because that was made for TV. But in this, it just, I think it's just lazy editing. I think there's ways to transition, like pan to the water, do something else instead of just like a fade to black. Yeah. So that was just something that stuck out to me. Two other cons I had. The college boy who served as the body double at the final scene. I posted about that documentary. Yeah. Meet Me at the Waterfront. The college boy that they had do that scene had a very rough time doing that scene. He was like beside himself. They had to get him drunk to do that scene. And it sounds extremely traumatic. I know the guy still hasn't come out and like, hey, that was me. Yeah. So I feel bad that there's someone out there who had a traumatic experience making this movie, and it's such a big part of what this movie is. So that makes me feel kind of sad about it.
Hey, guy, we're here for you.
Yeah, we are.
If you happen to listen to Sleepaway Camp podcast.
Yeah. Yes. You're one of our 20 listeners.
We're here for you.
But yeah, I hope.
Well, maybe he sits at home like and Google's like, has anybody talked about Sleepaway Camp? Maybe he's like oddly obsessed with it now.
Ooh, I would love to find out. But obviously, I don't, if someone's not comfortable with being part of this, then they shall stay in the dark and be there forever.
I mean, I'm not asking him to step forward.
I just want to know you're okay.
I want him to know because I'm wondering if he watches or listens to Sleepaway Camp podcast. Yeah. This is what I think of in my head.
And then my final con is that Desiree Gould is no longer with us. And I was really hoping one day to catch her on a horror con circuit, and sadly she passed away in 2021. So that was Aunt Martha. She was going to be my golden goose, my next golden goose, because I've had a couple and I met him thanks to Spooky. But yeah, I was like, oh, I need to find her and meet her, and I was like, oh no, she passed away, and it made me feel heavy with sadness.
I'm so sorry.
Yes, thank you. Ready to move on into characters?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You want to take it away?
I can.
Great.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I think, to my point, even though I didn't love the acting overall, which, side note, it wasn't just that there was age gaps. They had like the young kids staying with the older kids too in like the same bunks.
Yes.
That was what.
And the activities also very combined as well.
Yes.
Like everyone was swimming at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Didn't matter.
It was a weird
Did they
camp.
have buddies?
Ah.
Did you need a swimming
Yeah,
buddy?
yeah.
Anyways, although I didn't love the acting and the age gaps, I
Yeah.
did think Ricky and Angela, Felissa Rose, and the guy who played Ricky, Jonathan Tiersten, did a great job.
Yeah.
And Felissa Rose was 13, which I guess it wasn't normal for back in the day. They would find like an 18-year-old illegal adult that looked younger, and they used a 13-year-old, which then, you know, she's got a pretty good head on her shoulder, even though she was acting so young and doing such shocking movies like that.
Yeah.
But so I did like them, and I fucking hated the chef.
Oh, yes.
I hated everything about him. He grossed me out, skeeved me out.
Yes.
From his first, like, even look, like he's licking his lips. It's so disgusting.
The first word out of his mouth, you want him to be set on fire. Yes.
And I'm glad he died.
Yeah, I'm
Fuck
glad.
that bitch.
I'm glad we didn't get him for long.
That he was first to go. Well, he tried to rape Angela in the freezer.
Oh my God! Thank goodness for Ricky. Oh,
Ricky's the real hero.
I totally agree.
I don't think he gets enough credit. For
I don't either. I love Ricky.
What he did for Angela.
Yes, he was huge. He was her bodyguard. He was going to fight the
Stuck up
world.
for her, yeah.
He was going to fight the world for her.
Stuck up for her.
For a kid growing up with older brothers, I recognized Ricky and my older brothers, who, if anyone messed with, it was going down. No one messed with Angela, and no one messed with little Derek. But yeah, so Ricky was definitely the hero of this movie. I thought, what a fantastic cousin. I think the true villain, even though I loved her, the true villain of this movie was obviously Aunt Martha. Without forcing this gender identity on a child. No, because she simply couldn't have two boys in the house. It's just a real shitty move. So bad move on Aunt Martha. I think the best camp counselors would definitely be Ron and Susie. I mean, you had Meg, who was essentially a bully to Angela this whole time, but then Ron and Susie were kind of like these safe counselors that were like trying to help Angela eat in the cafeteria, even though he handed her straight to a fucking pedophile. Ugh. But still trying to help Ron. And then Susie stood up to Judy, smacked her in the face for saying some pretty outlandish stuff to her. So, there was some good camp counselors among the bad. And then, that was it. I think my favorite character would definitely be Ricky, just because, what a great guy to constantly be ready to just throw fisticuffs for anyone who said anything sideways. And he was like fighting the whole boys. He didn't give a shit.
Oh, yeah. He was.
Loved him.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on into dialogue. What do you got?
Well, it's not very dialogue heavy, where I like to pull really good stuff, but
nice big chunky monologues. Yes.
You got what you got, but Meg says at one point, what's her problem anyway? She don't eat, she don't talk, she don't do anything. And Ricky says, why don't you leave her alone? She's just quiet. And Meg says, if she were any quieter, she'd be dead.
That was good.
I like that little exchange.
Yeah. That was a good exchange. It was the cafeteria.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that was right before Ricky went to save her
from the pedophile.
Good Lord. I think one of the greatest sections in this movie was the baseball game. First of all,
oh my God,
it went up for so long.
Again, didn't fit into like why we were watching this baseball game.
I know. Up to bat was Bill, and Ricky said, "No problem, Gino. This guy blows dead dogs. Just lay it in there." And Bill says, "Eat shit and die, Ricky." And Ricky responds, "Eat shit and live, Bill. Because what's worse than eating shit and dying? Eating shit and living. You now have to live with eating shit. So suck it." Judy also had a very what I think is a pretty iconic line when she was picking on Angela, and she just said, She's a real carpenter's dream, flat as a board and needs a screw. Judy's an asshole.
So crass.
I know, so crass. Kids this age are rough, and they can say absolutely diabolical things.
They can, even to this day.
Now they get it online. They don't get to escape it now.
I don't think children should have phones.
I agree. No, I agree. There's a very specific reason.
Until they're driving.
Yes. There's a very specific reason Ian does not have a phone. He doesn't need any.
He's already got YouTube.
Yeah, but people can't contact him and like
No, I
try
know.
to chat to him and stuff.
Obviously.
Yeah. But like even peer stuff, like I don't need that. You can talk to your friends at school.
Yeah.
You can do that stuff. So
pick up a phone and call him.
Yeah. I have a phone. What's your friend's phone number?
landline?
Yeah. I have a landline. I actually do have an outlet for one. But it's obviously not used.
Womp womp.
All right. Favorite kills.
Yeah, we had a lot of not a lot of scares. I wouldn't say there was any too many or really any jump scares.
I agree.
A lot of good kills to choose from. Obviously the final one's a great one, but I did enjoy the shower scene. It was a really great, Psycho.
Yeah, very reminiscent. Yes.
Yeah, kind of like ode to Psycho, but yeah, I think that had to have been one of my favorites. I didn't love the bees. Skeeved me out.
I know. And they were like burrowed into him.
Yeah. They made quick work of him. And I was like,
they did.
I don't think bees do that. Not very realistic Sleepaway Camp. I don't know
very
what you're going for.
Yeah.
I did really like that. And maybe like the drowning in the canoe one. That wasn't too bad either.
Oh, with the snake coming out of his mouth. So
cool.
When
they found him and he
looked
flopped
awesome.
out. Yeah, he looked really cool. So
yeah, great work
those are probably my two favorite kills.
Nice. So I thought the work with Artie with the bubbling in the face looked great. The coolest kill to me was when Mel got shot through the neck with the arrow, just because of the mechanics of that. That was one solid shot, and they set up like this contraption where there was like a sensor in the throat, and they had a string and they pulled the arrow towards him, and then the contraption would not shoot out the back, but open up the back where it looked like it went through. So in this movie where they got to trim the fat, like them to make that is super cool. And I thought it was a great shot. But I think the saddest kill, I do have a saddest kill, is the campers in the sleeping bags. I think there was like 3 or 4 of them.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like the little kids. And I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, they were also, they just wanted to go back to camp.
Yeah, and I know the director, he said that was the one thing he regretted about the movie. He said he would have did that differently. I don't know if he would have taken it out because it was too much of a bummer, but he said he would redo that. So, yeah, that was the saddest kill.
Was Paul the other boy that was hitting on Angela?
Yeah, Paul was the one that was crushing.
I think it was pretty sad. He was nice to Angela.
He was.
Very nice. He didn't deserve it.
I was wondering, because Paul was sweet, he was the one that Angela opened up to, so I was like, why did he get decapitated? But I was wondering, he was caught in the woods kissing Judy.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that flipped the switch and then she was just done.
It was over. She knew she was going to do that as soon as she was like, meet me back.
She had a thirst for blood now. Look at all this stuff that she's done. Especially after those campers. Good Lord.
Also,
it's like 3 kids. Go ahead.
We have to discuss. We haven't brought this up. The disgusting relationship between Mel and Meg.
Yes.
Gross. That man was in his 60s.
Meg can get the grossest counselor award from me.
Oh, God.
She was the one that was pursuing him. I don't know what happened on before.
Yeah.
But she was the one, like, even in the beginning, like, she was, like, waving to him very, like, flirty. And I was like, ew.
And she was one who was like, what are you doing tonight?
I know. She wants that date. And I was like.
And he looked her up and, I don't know why they. Anyways, sorry.
I don't know. I don't know.
It was a choice, Sleepaway Camp.
It definitely was
a choice.
Nice. All right, so let's move on into Final Cut. And this is where I reveal the shocking ending of the film, and we discuss and give our ratings of 1 to 5 stabs. 1 stab, no redeeming value. 2 stabs, bad. 3 stabs, mediocre. 4 stabs, good. 5 stabs, masterpiece. On the night of the social, Paul runs into Angela and starts apologizing for kissing Judy, so Angela invites him to meet up at the waterfront later. Elsewhere, Counselor Eddie takes some of the younger campers out to the woods for a sleepover. 2 of them wake up later and beg to be taken back, so Eddie reluctantly agrees, leaving the remaining 3 alone. We get a POV of our killer showing up to the sleepover and staring at a hatchet. At the rec hall, Mel shows up in search of Meg, who has stood him up for their dinner date. He eventually finds Judy in her cabin, and she recalls seeing Meg going into the cabin next door. It's here where Mel discovers Meg's body as it tumbles out of the shower with a giant gash in her back. Beside himself, he blames Ricky and vows vengeance. Back at Judy's cabin, she's approached by a strange figure and murdered by her own curling iron. At the same time, Counselor Eddie arrives back at the sleepover camping session to find the remaining 3 campers hacked up in their sleeping bags, so he notifies head counselor Ron. As Ricky is leaving the social, Mel finds him and drags him off to the woods. He starts pounding on Ricky and leaves him for dead. But as he is escaping, a figure emerges on the archery field and shoots Mel through the neck while he exclaims, "It can't be you." The mustache copper shows back up to the camp after Ron calls, and they go in search of the killer and find an unconscious but alive Ricky. Down at the shore, Ron and Susie find a naked Angela sitting and caressing Paul in her lap. We then get a flashback to a young child with a bandaged head standing in front of Aunt Martha. She monologues that she's always dreamed of the little girl and how another boy just won't do, as she starts calling them Angela. The child doesn't respond until Aunt Martha says, "I know you're going to like that name, won't you, Peter?" We are now back at the shoreline and Angela stands, revealing the body of a biological boy, as Paul's decapitated head tumbles to the sand. Angela growls at Susie and Ron as the screen fades to green. The end. How'd you feel about that ending?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked it. It was definitely the first time you see it, it has the most impact.
Mm-hmm.
You never expect to see a schlong just
absolutely
in your face,
especially in like an 80s slasher where we
penis.
get tons of female anatomy all the time. To see a penis not even hid, just right there in front. Oh, holy cow.
Full bush.
Yeah, that's
Angela was clearly in her like 18 years old.
Yeah, so obviously Judy was wrong about having no hair down there.
No, plenty of hair.
Yes. But yeah, I totally agree. What a twist ending, especially on a first time watch. Just jaws are dropping. It's quite the ending. So, are you ready to stab it?
I can stab it.
Go for it.
All right. Definitely, like I said, lots of great practical kills, great effects, great 80s horror storyline, acting okay, little things here and there, but I'm going to give it a solid 4.
Yeah.
I like it. It's up there. When I talk to any horror fans, if they haven't seen it, it's one of those ones where like you have to freaking watch it.
Yeah.
But I do think with time, more rewatches, it does lose a little, but that's the only drop in score that I would give it.
Yeah.
I think it has a fighting chance at the end of the season, though. It's a very strong contender.
Yeah. So for me, when I think of like a fun, campy horror film, I always think of Sleepaway Camp. I hold it in high regard, like I hold Evil Dead and Dead Alive. Like, it definitely fits that mold where it's just this bonkers horror film. When I have that itch, it scratches it, and it scratches it to completion, and I have no more itch. So I give it 5 stabs.
Oh, a 5-stabber.
Yeah. You know, when this style of horror and it's done this well, I'm just a huge fan. So 5 stabs.
Congrats, Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah, you did it.
You've did
it. All right, so let's go into Voices from Beyond. And this is where Shelly goes through our social media platforms and chooses. You don't choose. We take
I choose you, listeners.
So share.
All right. So let's kick it off with Jeremy W.
There he is.
Well, gotta say that was awesome. Holy shit. The end was so creepy. It was good. The look on Angela's face haunted my sleep after seeing that. Wow. Love the Friday the 13th feel of it. True slasher camp vibe. 4 stabby stabs. I've been loving the Wheel of Death this season. Also, you guys rock. Love you all. Yeah. Thank you, Jeremy. We love you too.
We do.
Brian,
I hope you like your shirt.
Brian M. said, I somehow hadn't seen Sleepaway Camp until about 6 years ago. I knew about the reveal at the end, but that didn't take away from the initial enjoyment. It's still a fun watch with some creative kills and great practical effects. 4.5 stabs.
Oh, nice.
Quinlan D. said, Sleepaway Camp has the single most dumbfounding ending of any movie I know. When I first showed it to my wife, I recorded her reaction so others could witness her response. Nice. It's a film that brings me far more joy than it should.
Yeah.
Matt F. said, well, now wasn't that fun? I jumped right into my time machine and walked out in my teenage years. This was pure 80s joy. From the very first time we saw Desiree Gould and the horrible acting, I knew that we were in for a ride for sure. The cheesy acting and script did not let me down at all. I love that I hated Artie from the very beginning, and then bam, he had a little accident. A lot of this movie was very predictable, although I thought Artie was going to have some sort of accident that involved the meat slicer after he walked past on his way out of the cooler. Fun slasher flick for sure, very representative of the genre at the time, and then those last 10 seconds, what a way to end the movie. I can't wait to see what the wheel has in store for me next. And then Ray M said, it reminded me of Ernest Goes to Camp mixed with the original Friday the 13th. A couple of overdramatic scenes. Seems like one of those movies you just have to watch once just to say you watched it and be done with it. 2 out of 5 stars.
Oh, okay. Me. There you go.
Ray, not a fan.
That's good. We got a lot of different feelings on it.
I still think it has a fighting chance at the end of the season.
Yeah. It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Loose Ends. And this is just a catch-all segment. We can talk about any fun facts or any lasting thoughts on it. Did you have any thoughts or fun things you want to...
Yeah, maybe just a little story. One of the fun facts is that the actresses who play Angela, Judy, and Meg are actually really great friends. They were then. They still are now. So the fun fact that I saw is that they had a really hard time actually being really mean to Angela because they really like Felissa.
Yeah.
They did come to Spooky Empire, the 3 of them once. I want to say, gosh, it has probably been like 5 years since this happened.
Okay.
But they're notorious when they come to do a bloody photo op. So they bring fake blood in.
Oh, that's
and
great.
They splash it on themselves. And they did this at the show, and the fun, it's a fun little thing. However, we ended up having blood a lot on the convention floor carpet, and I remember very vividly getting a lot of people from my team and some volunteers all on our hands and knees in that room, trying to scrub up as much blood as we possibly could. And then Mikey, who's used to, I don't know if he still represents him or not, but he produces a lot of documentaries, and I'm pretty sure he has a Sleepaway Camp one out there.
Yeah, there's a couple, yeah.
Yeah, so he's there, representing them at the time when they did this, and we all got a good little laugh out of it. But yeah, if you ever see them at a show, they do a bloody photo op.
That's cool.
Definitely, they all get into like camp shirts and little shorts and
Camp Arawak
pictures.
Shirts.
I don't know if it said Arawak. I would wonder if it's out there.
Yeah.
That we could find it on Google. But yeah, so that's my fun fact.
All right, so Mike Kellens, who is the older gentleman who played Mel, this was his final film. He was sick during filming, and he concealed it from the cast and crew. He ended up dying of lung cancer 3 months before the film's release. Ironically, in the movie, in most of the scenes, he's puffing on a cigar. So, R.I.P. to Mr. Mike Kellens.
Poor guy.
Poor guy, yeah. And then at the beginning, we got a dedication to Robert Heltzick's mother, who was a doer. But she passed away before production, and the inheritance that was given to Robert was used to make this film. So, very generous of his passed away mother. We got Sleepaway Camp, which I don't know if it would make her roll in her grave, but we are all benefiting because of it. So thank you, Miss Heltzick. Oh, another thing. So Ben the cook, who took over after Artie.
The other one, yeah.
Yeah, he took over after Artie.
I was about to get really mad.
No. I want no interesting facts on him. But it was played by James Earl Jones's father, Robert Earl Jones.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, if you watch back, you will see it.
Oh, do you see it?
Oh, you'll be like, oh my gosh. Tell. Yes. And then the last thing I do want to say for this section is I do understand there is a lot of transgender themes going on, obviously, with the end of this movie. We didn't go over any of that stuff. Also, I am someone who identifies as a male.
I thought you were just coming out to me. I don't know if you saw the shock in my eyes. I was like, what are you going to say that you were identify as, Derek?
I understand your wife's been gone for a little bit, but
what happened?
I do understand part of the conversation with this movie is that topic. So if anyone is interested in the gender discussion revolving around this movie, Dead Meat, podcast number 54, they have a discussion. It's a transgender discussion on the genre as a whole, but they do touch on Sleepaway Camp for a good chunk of it. And then on YouTube, there's Kate Black, which is spelled KatBlaque, and her video is titled A Trans Woman Reviews Sleepaway Camp. So if people are looking for that kind of content with this movie, there's a couple options to go check out, and I just wanted to throw those out there.
Nice.
Here we are. Wheel of Death time.
Oh, we are ready.
Yes. So next up is Wheel of Death. And this is where, first and foremost, we need to replace Sleepaway Camp on our wheel. So let me pull the wheel up as Shelly digs into the bag and gets a movie. The sweet bag.
Let's see what we got here.
ASMR. And I'm deleting Sleepaway Camp from my list. Is it a...
It is a viewer pick.
Pick?
It's Ray M's.
Ray M, all right.
Dash Cam.
Dash Cam.
Internet personality goes for a ride and picks up an elderly lady.
Dash Cam. Okay, I have it saved.
You good?
Yeah.
You got this under control?
Sure. All right. Turn it up. You ready to do the chant?
Ready.
All right, here we go. Wheel of Death. Wheel of Death. Wheel of Death. Wheel of
Death.
Next up, we got a Shelly movie again.
Oh my gosh, I'm just winning. Oh, Event Horizon.
I'm so pumped for this.
You've never seen it.
Because I've never seen it. I've stayed away because I think you had it. You also suggested it last year, I think, too, didn't you?
No, I don't think I did.
Oh, did you not? Okay. But I've been holding off so I can be fresh and be a new set of eyes on this movie.
I haven't watched it in a while.
Okay, cool.
It is on Paramount Plus.
Okay.
And it might be on Prime or Hulu and Sling.
Okay.
But you can rent it on Apple or most venues for less than $5. Maybe you can find like a YouTube.
I will shout out the video store in town in Tampa.
Oh, yeah.
Viper Video.
Our guy's currently playing Big Brother.
Exactly. I just bought Poltergeist Blu-ray for $7. So if you live in the Tampa area...
Did you go or did you
no,
check
I
out
stopped.
their site? Oh, so you did go by.
I just stopped. I stopped. And go check them out. They're on MLK.
Did you tell
Tampa.
him you went because I was watching Big Brother and I was like, have you been to this store?
Yes. It was funny because that location used to be Grindhouse Video that was in town.
That's what I thought. And
Yes.
you had been to Grindhouse.
And I've been there, and when I went there, I was like, oh, this is the same exact, like, Steel Toe Records is right there, the comic book shop. And then now it's Viper Video, and I was like, oh, this is great. And I chatted with the guy for a little bit. I let him know. I was like, my friend Shelly, who I do a podcast with, I was like, she was telling me that there's a guy on Big Brother who works here, and he's like, oh, yeah. He's like, I've been getting, like, 30 calls today. People just call and hang up. He's like, I think people just want to see if this is a real place.
I hope it gives them more business because like little like I don't know, hole mall or like
it is a hole
in the wall. Like you can't. I actually dreamed about a video store the other way.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But you don't get places where you can go and like actually touch movies.
I know. And he's got a great collection.
And he's VHS too, right?
VHS, DVD, Blu-ray. You can trade in movies.
Laserdisc.
I don't know. I didn't see Laserdisc.
Not that I have a player that I care, but
does anyone have a Laserdisc?
I don't know. I just figured like that's a way you can watch movies too.
Yeah. So if people are looking for physical copies and live in Tampa, go try there. He might have one.
And I mean, Amazon usually has it really cheap.
Yes.
If you want, I mean, I think it's a good movie to invest in. It was one of the first horror movies I saw in the movies.
Oh, you went to
like
the theater?
In the theater to see it. Yeah, I went with my friend and his dad. It's $6 to buy. But it's not like Blu-ray if you just want the DVD.
Okay.
$6 for the DVD.
Yeah. Awesome. All right.
I'm excited.
And if we do find it anywhere that is streaming that we didn't have
Definitely
today,
share.
Just pay attention to our socials and we'll get it out there for you. So that's it. Awesome. All right. So next episode drops August 21st. Don't miss out and tune in to the end of this season where we'll be taking all of the films we watched and have them battle it out in our end of the season deathmatch tournament. If you listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please hit the follow button and give us a rating and review if you like what we do. You can find us on Facebook and TikTok by searching Little Bracket of Horrors and on Instagram by typing at Little Bracket of Horrors. We also have merch available at tpublic.com. Just search our name in their website search bar or pay attention to our socials for a direct link. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I'm Derek.
I'm Shelly.
And we will catch you on the other side. Bye, Shelly.
Happy birthday.
She's like, how much longer is this video? It's like 24 minutes. I'm like, Jesus. There was so many. We're going on about
you.
Oh. Okay. I'm going to stop this.
Did you go to school on the other side of the tracks?
I lived. My school was the side of the tracks, and I lived on the other side. Yeah, I lived on the other side. They bust you in. Yeah, I had to go past Carrie's high school to get to my high school.
They're trying to meet a ratio.
Yeah, they're like.
Our high school. I don't remember what our high school went. I very vividly remember time of your life.
Yes.
Being middle school because they played this slideshow in the gym. My friend Lauren describes it perfectly, and she's like, but it's high school. I'm like, no, that's literally was us in middle school in 8th grade, sitting in the gym, watching the slideshow.
Yeah.
And I remember because they put like all our 8th grade pictures up, and everybody said I looked like Kermit the Frog. So that's why I remember so vividly. But I don't remember high school. I want to say it was like the graduation song by Vitamin C, but I don't remember when that actually
was
came
very
out.
Common during those times. I feel like the class before me, that was their...
They used that one?
Yeah.
So it had to have been out. 99. So, I mean, it
could
have been our graduation song. But my sister graduated in 99, so maybe that was her graduation song.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah. High school.
Vitamin C.
I mean, if ever there was a graduation song. As we go on, we remember all the times we spent together. Is it shared? I said spent. You ready to get into our movie?
We remember
all the time.
And then she's like, "Down, bam, dead, and for the rest of your life, it's gonna be."
Oh, I don't remember that part.
Yeah, she does like a little like flow,
like a breakdown. Oh,
yeah.
She does like a little. She spits some bars.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she does. Hold on. It's a 5.5 minute song. I don't know if you've clocked that before.
No, I have not.
And I think at the end she has like that wear sunscreen. Do you remember the wear sunscreen?
I don't. No.
We're gonna go through another.
Yeah, we are. Ooh.
Where we gonna be when we turn 25? Oh my gosh, and I'm 40 now.
Ooh, that stings. Yeah.
This will always be the same. Ooh, the same.
The harmonies.
See, I think she spits bars almost the whole time.
Okay. I only know the chorus then. I was too in the dark. Ooh. Did I hear a scratching of a record?
Yeah, that is a scratching of a record.
The early 2000s were hip, dude.
This is how it feels. As we go on, we remember all the times let's see.
Had together.
We were both wrong.
Ah, okay.
As your lives change from whatever, we will still be friends forever.
Positive message.
Now,
and then
in the original cut, there's kids talking.
Okay.
But they've cut it out of this
Imagine
trademark Apple Music.
If that's a 5-minute song, how many verses are there?
It's all the same.
So, it's repeats? There's more soul.
Gospel.
Okay. We've gone to church.
But I think it's so long because in the original, which now why doesn't it have the kids talking?
Yeah.
There's kids talking in it. And they're like, I'm really going to miss everybody. Or I don't know what they actually said.
So were they playing this at like an end of the year, like slideshow?
Well, the Green Day song, yes. I don't think in high school we had like an end of the year slideshow.
Yeah. We didn't do that either. I was just curious.
No, just middle school. We cared more, I guess. Cared more about us.
Oh, nice.
All right, I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm done with that.
Get some water.
Oh, you already have it.
Oh,
You're just going to drink it?
just gonna drink it.
I'm gonna start living my life like you do and announcing everything I do. I'm about to record a podcast.
All right, I'm putting my shoes on. All right, you ready?
Oh, I gotta get some. Ready.
Don't you know my
Is your
wife
phone ringing?
Yeah, Carrie's calling me. Watch.
Answer it. Put it on speaker.
What up, girl?
Dude, you haven't responded to me for like hours.
I'm recording a podcast, bro.
Oh.
You want to say hi to Shelly?
Hi, Shelly.
It's like I'm talking to you because you're in the mic, and so you're in my ears.
Yeah. Can you hear Shelly?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, like I can hear her, but not really.
Like not in the mic. Yeah. It's like in the room. Hear me.
How you doing, love?
Okay, I'll talk to you later. You
Everything
didn't tell
okay?
me you're doing the podcast.
No,
Sorry.
It's cool. I can edit this. Everything okay?
Yeah, we're just really delayed. It's raining really bad here.
Oh shoot.
Oh no.
Sorry.
So.
Well, it doesn't matter when you get in. I will be there.
Hey,
We'll
Carrie.
figure it out.
Okay.
Hey, Carrie.
Yeah.
Derek did a really good job of keeping your house nice. It looks really good. And I love you and miss you.
Yes. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Shelly, your nephew is now a bougie Starbucks drinker. So
Ooh,
have to
get
have
it,
a Starbucks tea.
Ian. What's his go-to drink?
Well, he likes the coconut milk. What is it? The pink drink.
Ooh, he gets the pink drink.
Yeah.
Sick.
We'll have to go on the Starbucks
They're
date.
recording the podcast, Ian. He wants to say hi. Hold
Okay.
on.
What's up, buddy? Hello?
Hi, Daddy.
What up, dude?
I missed you.
I miss you too. I can't wait to see you in how many hours it is until they actually fly you guys out
Yeah.
of
I mean, they might cancel it. I don't know.
there. What'd you say?
But
He's just being
They might
realistic. They might
cancel
cancel it.
Oh, I hope not. Regardless, I
Yeah.
will be wherever I need to be to pick you guys up whenever.
thank you.
You're welcome.
I love you.
I love you too, buddy.
Are you going to keep this in the podcast?
Yeah, I'll put it on the end.
Yay.
Tell all your friend.
Aw, he's got friends.
Burn.
That was rude.
It was rude. Tell all
Bye,
your
Dad.
friends. Huh?
Bye, Dad.
All right.
Bye, Aunt Shelly.
Bye.
When you get home, you
Have
need to
a
clean
good
your
day.
room.
Ah,
All right. Love you.
love you.
All right. Give me back to mom.
Oh,
Cold.
she said deuces.
Yeah.
We
She
love you,
deuced out.
Carrie. You can call anytime.
Dash cam. Okay. I have it saved.
You good?
Yeah.
You got this under control?
Sure. All right. Turn it up.